Hello everyone, and welcome to our Talk and Play podcast, where we talk about funny and not so funny subjects.
Sorry. Keep going.
I can't.
No! Tell the people what they want.
While we play retro video games.
And today, we're going to be talking about bullying and the effects of bullying. I'm sure that's something that everybody has witnessed or experienced at some point in their life, so I think that kind of hits close to home for a lot of people.
So, I was expecting you to laugh again. So without further ado, let's blow your knowledge load.
Alright, Dustin, tell them.
Alright, don't be a bully, for many different reasons. Well, I mean, we've talked about this on the channel before, where this is definitely a subject that hits close to home for me, and it's interesting when you actually look into the psychological effects of what bullying can actually cause, and not just for the victim of bullying, but for everyone, which is really
yeah,
weird.
because obviously it impacts everybody in one way or another. Like it's just because it's such a. I mean, I really honestly feel that like it goes hand in hand with abuse. It is a form of abuse, really, is what it is.
Yeah.
So you can't expect people to have been bullied and have no effects from being, well, the bully, bystanders, the actual person being bullied, for them to not have like really adverse effects from it. Like it's the same as being abused. It really is.
Yeah. So when it comes with that, like the effects of being bullied, so we're talking about the victim, like you're at higher risk for mental illness such as depression, anxiety. I'm sure there's some more in there as well. Obviously, you're gonna like confidence issues. I know I've read some stuff in the past where it was like kids that were bullied significantly actually have a lower chance of success later on in life just because they have no confidence in their skills or who they are. Can affect things like dating further on, because people that are bullied aren't going to want to approach a girl because they're used to getting laughed at.
Well, yeah, honestly, like it's a big confidence issue too, like being bullied, because I mean, what they're essentially doing is beating you down and making you feel small. Mm-hmm. They take away your confidence, and I mean, obviously that's gonna tie over into other parts of your life. It's gonna spill over. There's really nothing you can do about it, especially if you were bullied for like a long period of time. That has adverse psychological effects on you, and I really feel like there's just no way around that.
Yeah. Which
is why it's such a. You gotta use the run button, friend.
I always think run is A.
Yeah, there's no way around that, and there's no way you can expect to, like, I mean, there's people who can stick it out. You know, they can still be successful and get around it, but I don't think that there's any way that you can say that you weren't affected by being bullied. Yeah. If you were bullied.
Like I really, really hate when people say bullying is good for you, teaches you character, makes you strong. Well, okay, but how about, you know, when we're talking about the psychological effects, like the being prone to drug addiction as well as alcohol addiction falls in line with not only those two mental illnesses, but also of being bullied. They have a higher rate of addictions. And then the other part of it is, like we were reading, that most of the school shootings, the kids had a history of being bullied.
So I think it was 12 of the last 15 school shootings, they had a history of being bullied. And I mean, I guess if you think about it, I don't want to say it. Oh yeah, that makes sense, but it kind of does make sense. Like it's a breeding ground for hatred. These kids are now growing up resentful of the people who are bullying them, and how could they not be? And if it's one or multiple people, Yeah, of course it's gonna be really hard to, not have bad feelings or ill feelings against those people. I'm not saying it's right, obviously. I'm just saying, yeah, I can see how getting beat down by your peers and embarrassed constantly and, whatever the case is, I can see how that would affect you in that kind of way.
Especially when you have nobody standing up for you. Like, your parents won't do anything, the school won't do anything. And then on the other side of the equation, most adolescent suicides are a result of bullying as well. So that's the other part of it is, saying, oh, bullying is good for you, it teaches you character. Like, yeah, but there's a high chance they're going to shoot up the school or kill themselves, or have a drug addiction or an alcohol addiction, or have mental issues, for the rest of their life. You know what I mean? Like, it's just...
Well, what I found interesting was that it was also said that the bystanders, like people who witness people being bullied, they have a lot of the same psychological effects on them as people who get bullied. Like they can get depression. I have to get the other side. Damn it. They can get. Wait.
There's one star left somewhere.
Okay.
Behind a leaf.
They skip school. They don't want to be there anymore and witness that. Like, it's not good for anybody. Like, you talked about what happens to the bullies, or did you just
No, not yet, but I want to add on to the bystander effect.
So yeah, go ahead.
I feel like it's also a feeling of helplessness. Like, you're watching this stuff go down, but you're not able to stop it because either you don't have the strength, or you don't want the bullies to come after you, so you let these other people be bullied. Like, you'll feel helpless, weak, maybe a bit guilty that you actually let this happen. Yeah, I could absolutely see somebody going into depression because they couldn't help somebody out, especially if that kid had killed themselves.
Oh yeah,
Could you imagine?
That would be like extra bad. And I mean, that kind of ties in with the movie 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah.
Or our TV show, sorry. And I'm sure a lot of people saw that. It was really big. I don't know how long. I think
that was like 2015 already.
Yeah, it was several years ago now when it became really big, but it made a lot of waves everywhere where people were talking about it and identifying with it, really. Just because of, it's something that could happen. It's all these things added up to somebody committing suicide, and then now there's all these people that it affects all their lives now too, because they were a part of it and they were directly called out in the movie. I honestly don't know the full story, because it is based on a true story, right? Or is it?
Yes, it is.
But yeah, you don't afterward, you don't think about it at the time, because...
Or is it a book?
I think it is a book.
I can't remember.
Anyways, but in that scenario, well, let's just assume that it's true.
Yeah.
In that scenario, you're one person out of 13 different ones that made this kid commit suicide, and when it all gets put together and you find out all the other reasons plus yours is what made it happen, yeah, that would affect you too, obviously.
Yeah, because if somebody's being bullied and you didn't stand up to them and they were looking at you like, why aren't you helping me?
Yeah.
I could absolutely see, from both sides, why that person would take that as, just another person that doesn't give a crap about me. And, that was a psycho bee. But also, the person who stood by, would experience depression because of something they could have stopped. Now, for people that are like, the bullies don't ever have to deal with anything, they're just dickheaded assholes. Surprisingly enough, there is some stuff with them as well, and
but it's stuff that makes sense.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's background for the people, these bullies, where it's it's abuse at home, or whatever their parent, just problem. A lot of it stems from problems at home, because they're just emulating things that happen to them, really.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it is a problem that happened with them, and it's not because they're just. I mean, I'm not saying all the time, but yeah, sometimes there are people that are just dinks. I mean, that's you can't avoid that, but at the same time, there is often reasons outside of that they are acting the way that they do.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to make excuses. Like, I still think it's a bad thing. It's just, yeah, there are extenuating circumstances most of the time that makes them kind of the way they are.
And they might not even be, abused at home. Maybe they're just a terrible kid. And when kids are allowed to get away with bullying, what we were reading is, again, they are also prone to addictions. They more than likely will end up in jail at some point in their life. And I would almost assume that some of that is domestic abuse.
Oh yeah, I would honestly think that a lot of it is because of issues at home. They don't know any different. That's just what their life has been, so that's just how they act at school or later on in life. They're more likely to abuse their spouses or partners. They're more likely to have anger issues. They're more likely to end up in jail.
Which is kind of true. Like, if I even look at my experience, my bully there, he, has a severe drug addiction and beats the crap out of his girl that he's been with forever. And, that's been... So, when I read that, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Because they're just... I don't know. Like, I want to call them terrible people, but I'm also severely biased in this whole situation.
Of course. How could you not be?
Yeah, it's...
There was a barrel right underneath that banana.
Was there? Oh. I find it really hard to be like, oh, that poor person who's got, problems at home. Maybe mom doesn't want to cut the crust off his sandwiches.
It's tough to make excuses for other people when they affected you like that, of course.
Yeah. I do believe that, while bullies are a problem, adults are almost just as big of a problem when it comes to the bullying. Like, the parents of a bully, if you are out there right now and you're watching this because you were getting bullied, if you told the principal or whatever, how many times did the mother or whoever go, my child would never do that, they're a saint.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good.
Or the rest of the people in your class or whatever are like them because they're popular and stuff like that. Like, you feel so alone. It's like, how is this person pulling the wool over everyone's eyes? He's an asshole. He's abusive, and he's like, I've never understood that part. Because I feel like if your kid was a bully, you would know.
Apparently they don't, and I mean, there's probably still the case where yes, they just have this distorted view of their child, and nothing can change that.
Troll barrels.
Seriously, they're dinks, and there's just nothing that can change that because my child's a saint, and that's all there is to it.
Now, maybe they know that their child's a dink, but they just don't want to admit it because then that's now admitting that they have failed as a parent.
Yes, that is probably also a reason. And then, like, parents who know what their kid does, but then still, like, fights to get them out of trouble all the time and causes problems with everybody else. Is like, oh, your son's been bullying this kid. It's like, oh, well, this kid is this and that, so, It's like, okay, come on.
Yeah.
You can't just keep sloughing off blame everywhere. You gotta be realistic about this.
Yeah, that is another really big part of it. So where was it?
Just straight down. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So, and I guess like one of the last things we want to talk about is like zero tolerance in schools.
Yeah.
Which is, I feel like that's almost one of the things that can make people feel the loneliest. Because now, I don't know why you're always at the top. And now we're saying that kids who are bullied can't even fight back.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they will have repercussions against them. So now we're saying the bullies can do whatever they want and there's nothing you can do about it or you're gonna get in trouble. Like what kind of example is that setting, and what is that saying to these kids? That now yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. That's what we're saying, essentially.
I'm sure a lot of people have seen it, but there was that Australian kid that, that body
Go over to, don't worry about it.
that body slammed his bully. Remember the little punky kid was, punched him in the gut, and then the big kid just picked him up and body slammed him into the concrete.
Yep.
That kid that body slammed him got suspended and got read the riot act. But the rest of the world was like, you go, dude.
Yeah.
Like, just, honestly, I love justice for bullies like that. I will look it up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's been multiple videos where my favorite ones are when a kid is getting bullied and then out of the crowd another kid steps out and just knocks the bully out.
Well, yeah, when you actually see somebody stand up for somebody getting bullied, like, that takes a lot of guts too.
Yeah. But zero tolerance schools, it teaches the victim that nobody will ever help them. And then, that can lead to things like suicide and school shootings because nobody has their back. They stood up to their bully, maybe they pushed them back or hit them back, and now that kid's getting in trouble? Give me a break. I've never understood that one, and if any teachers here want to comment on that, like, feel free, but I've had this, my mom's a teacher, I've had that conversation with her, and her and I can never agree on it, that violence is never the answer. But if you've never lived with a bully, you don't know. Violence sometimes is the answer. So you're teaching them not to stand up for themselves. So later on in life, when whether it's work or somewhere out in public, and somebody does something to them, they're not going to know to stand up for themselves. Oh, like somebody comes over to them and starts harassing their girlfriend or whatever, they're going to stand up for themselves because they've been conditioned not to.
Yeah, why would they?
Yeah. So you have that, and then you have the, at work, their boss is being a dick to them. For so long, I struggled with standing up for myself. Now I'm like, dude, you're being a bit of a dick. Like, calm down. And nobody, I just feel like it's setting them up for a lifetime of failure. You're basically turning them into the world's victim. Because bullying just doesn't stop at high school, and that's where the zero tolerance comes in as well. Is if you have zero tolerance schools, you're now teaching the bully it's okay for them to be like that for life, because if anybody stands up to them, they're gonna get in trouble too.
Yeah, exactly. Why would they stop if... Okay, really?
Those barrels are annoying.
These are the worst kind of people. Yeah. Well, if we're just saying all of a sudden now, it's like, okay, if a kid does... Oh, I don't know how I'm going to get across this. Okay. Yeah, we're just saying... Well, if you stand up for yourself, you're gonna get it even worse. So you might as well just get bullied.
Yeah.
And how is that helpful to anybody?
No. We're not teaching any lessons to the bullies. We're not helping out the victims at all.
Yeah, we're giving bad lessons to the kids who have the problems.
We're basically telling the victims, hey, life is always gonna suck. Get used to it, or else you're gonna get in trouble. I don't understand. I've never understood the whole zero tolerance. And like in my own personal experience, I was bullied in front of the teachers, throwing things at me in class, saying shit, and the teachers would just laugh. Or, I went to the principal once, and he told me to have a sense of humor. Like, suck my butt, dude.
Totally suck his butt.
Suck my butt. I have a sense of humor. What I don't appreciate is being tackled and tied down and people trying to duct tape condoms on me. Like, oh my god. I'm getting heated.
You getting heated?
Ooh, getting heated. Even in hell, I got no respect.
Yeah, no, it's, I don't know. I have a hard time seeing it any other way other than, like, just bullies being protected.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to look at it.
And you know what? It's addictions. I know I keep going back to addictions, but it's something that, like, I've seen so many times when it comes to this subject, and it just kind of becomes a mode of self-soothing for someone. Like you'll see people that have to sleep while hugging a pillow or whatever. It's a form of self-soothing. It's the same thing for alcohol and drug addictions for bully victims or bully bystanders because they need that self-soothing, and no person was going to offer it to them, so yeah, they got rid of the pain with addictions.
Come on.
I worry for when I have kids, because it seems like the world has gotten even more PC and more never wanting to intervene no matter what.
Yeah.
So I already told my fiance exactly what was going to happen. She's like, what would you do? And I said, I already have that plan. So if my kid gets bullied, I'm going to go to that bully's house, and I'm going to call the dad and the bully to the door.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell the dad, tell your kid to stop bullying my kid right now, or you and I are going to go on the front lawn and I'm going to beat the shit out of you in front of your kid.
All right.
You don't want that to happen? Stop your kid from being a C-word to my kid. Or you're done. I'll embarrass you in front of your kid, and then your kid will be made fun of at school because their dad got beat up by this kid's dad. Right?
Fair enough.
So I actually learned this technique from a Polish dude who told me this is exactly what he did, and it worked.
Yeah.
And the dad was like, and then I guess the bully got beat by the dad a little.
Yeah, fair enough.
And it solved the issue. And so he had a lot of views like that. Like he said, if his daughter ever got raped, that he would find the rapist. He would never kill him, but he'd raw dog him.
Oh God.
He's like, you want to fuck my daughter? I'll do it to you, and I'm going in dry. Like how would you get that? And he's like, adrenaline. That's an adrenaline boner, buddy.
Oh my God.
But yeah, ever since that guy told me that, where it's like, as a dad, you can't do anything to the bully, but you sure as hell can threaten the dad.
That's fair. I mean, but then they can call the cops on you, and then what?
They're like, oh no, we were just having a friendly conversation, and I told him to stop bullying my child. Did you threaten to hit him? And I said, no. No. I said if his kid doesn't stop bullying mine, then I will.
I would hit him.
So the ball's in his court. It's not really a threat. Because he controls it.
Yeah, it's totally up to him. Oh, God.
I don't know. That was a really funny conversation.
On that note, we'll leave you with that. But yeah, bullying sucks.
Bullying sucks.
For everybody. Everybody.
Yeah.
Even just watching.
Jesus Christ, every time you bully someone.
Don't do it. Don't get bullied.
Don't. Alright. We'll see
you
you
guys
next
next
time. Bye.
Bye.